Hey, how's it going?
Hey, that's Matt. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well.
Hey, that's Matt. How are you doing?
All right.
Good to hear
Uh,
during these times.
wait, what?
It's good to hear during these times.
Yeah. All right. Let me share my tab real quick. All right, so you're able to see my screen, right?
Got it. Yep.
Yep. And just so you know, I do have my stream going. Just want to make sure you are chill with that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, yeah. Just want to make sure.
I'll try and control myself.
I don't really care. I've just found it's always nice to be able to go back and reference it
Yeah, for sure.
and everything. Not that I expect to ever become big. Um, so one thing I noticed is you haven't really played too many games. Um, One of the most important things in order to get a lot better is to play a lot, and you kind of haven't really focused too much in on who your champion pool is. It seems like you've played a lot of different champions this season. With you haven't really played too many necessarily, but you don't have a few champions where you've played a lot of games.
Hmm.
If I got mine pulled up here. My don't look at my match history. I've just been messing around trying to get some stuff for Clash, trying to know more than two champs. But if you look at my champ pool, I have Zed. I've played 126. Then LeBlanc, I played 98. The rest, I've played a lot of these champs. I used to play a lot of Syndra till she got nerfed into the ground, but everything else is pretty mediocre. I played too many of these champs. I think it's best to have a small champ pool so you can really focus on the game.
True. Fair enough. I was trying to figure out who I wanted to main really,
Yeah.
and that's gonna be one of my questions for you. Who do you think would be good to play both in the rest of this season, or what the hell's left of it, and then going
Yeah.
into the new season? Like what do you think would be a good one for me just to sit here and nerd out?
I mean, there are a lot of champions you could learn how to do, learn how to play, and I don't think there is a right answer for what you should try to learn. It's most importantly, what do you enjoy playing? You know,
Fair
because
enough.
it is a game after all. You don't want to just spend all of it. Oh, I'm gonna play Rengar because he's really strong up in Challenger. It's if you don't enjoy it, you don't enjoy it.
True.
Personally, I've really enjoyed the assassin playstyle. That's what suits me. It seems like you've played a bit of assassins here, kind of assassin, kind of mage. She's more mage on Zoe. Do you know kind of because I took a long break between season 4 I played a lot and season 5 I played a bit, and then 4 years I didn't really play much at all, and I just picked it back up this season.
Yeah, I pretty much did the same thing, except I didn't go right back up this season.
Okay, yeah. I mean, trust me. Looking, I don't think it shows my tier graph, but I was hard stuck gold like 500, 600 games this season, so don't worry. Don't worry. It took a long time to start for me to start climbing. Once I started climbing, it wasn't. I once I figured out kind of how to climb and I found my champ pool that I wanted to play with again, I started climbing. But again, yeah, I think it's just find that champ pool, then you'll be able to really climb a lot easier, a lot quicker.
Fair enough, and you're not thinking about the champion mechanics as much.
Which, yeah, I mean, some people just suggest, oh, just play Annie, one trick Annie, because she's so easy. But like, I find her kind of boring. I wouldn't necessarily do that. I would just, here, let me pull up champ pool store real quick. Um, some variety. So like, I would recommend 2 or 3 champions you could play to a really good level.
Hmm.
I picked Zed and LeBlanc because 1 AD, 1 AP. You know, not every game I'm gonna want to pick Zed because we need an AP mid,
True.
and not if I have an AP jungle and AP top, I don't want to pick LeBlanc as well. And those are also just two that I really enjoy playing because I could have picked Fizz, I could have picked Echo, I could have picked Talon instead of Zed. Do you have any idea of kind of who you're leaning towards?
I think I'm kind of leaning towards like Orianna and Ahri kind of thing.
Orianna, Ahri? Those are both really good champions to play, I think. Let's see. Yeah, you played a lot of Orianna, and I saw you were playing a little bit of Ahri recently, and this is the game you wanted to go over, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good one to show like how I had a good league going into it, and then like I just probably didn't make very good decisions and just kind of threw everything that I had.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to look at your VOD yet, or the VOD yet. I've looked at your OPGG a little bit, gotten a little bit of an idea, but
True. We got a live replay,
yeah.
eh?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I did notice, I'll just go to ranked games, but is that you don't have a lot of farm every game. Which, again, that's something that everyone needs to work at. I mean, I'll go to my ranked games solo queue and I'll see 5.8, it's not that great. 5.4, 4.9, 5.8, 4.8. To be fair, LeBlanc is one that everyone is notoriously bad at farming on.
True, yeah. That makes sense. I feel like I'm trying to like roam too much and I lose CS as like a...
Yeah. I mean, one of the most important things is to be able to side lane properly and, kind of know when to.
Right.
Side lane. Here, give me one sec. I put together a list of a lot of the things that I believe are important to knowing how to climb. Oop, I don't think I can send that, it's too long. Just give me one sec.
No worries.
I'll link you the Google Sheets, but this is kind of a list of a lot of the things that I made a quick video just outlining it, but it's pretty long. You probably don't want to watch that, but it's kind of like a little list of a lot of the things that you do and don't want to do. This doesn't really explain, oh, this is what you want to trade, this is how you want to trade, this is where you need to position at every moment. This is how to manipulate your wave. This is what objectives you should go for when you can. This is just kind of like a thing of you need to understand that you need to look at to win lane. Am I getting a lot of small advantages? Am I farming well? Am I getting good trades? You can use that to go reflect upon your gameplay. So for example, with small advantages, let's see if you're farming well, and let's just see if you're farming well based on this, and we'll go to the Ahri game. And I'm not going to just take your farm because obviously you want like 8 or 10 CS per minute, but everything changes based on the game. So we'll compare it a little bit more towards what the enemies are getting and what your ally team's getting, And the enemy mid got 5-2. And you got 4.5. So already you're not really creating an advantage against the enemy laner. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then, a lot of other things like positioning. My goal in coaching is not to tell you what to do, if that makes sense. I kind of want to more show you the things that you need to look at within your own gameplay. You need to analyze it for yourself and realize, am I doing this properly? You can look at
steer
this.
me in the right direction so I actually learn.
and so I can tell you, oh, you need to position more aggressively and you need to throw your Q when you're playing Ahri, you want to throw your Q so it hits and pushes the minion wave and it hits the enemy champion. You know, that might help you get from gold 4 to gold 2. But my goal is to give you kind of the tools to be able to climb on your own without coaching and not need a coaching session in order to climb every time you want to get to that next division or the next tier. And this is a lot of, it has some tips, but it's also a little bit of, you know, do you think you're doing this well? Do you think you are diving properly, or you're communicating with your jungler well? You know, are you dying 1v1? Are you dying to ganks a lot? You know, if you notice that you're dying to ganks a lot, when do you think you're dying to ganks? Is it because you don't really understand the jungle pathing for the enemy jungler? Did you not expect the Xin Zhao to level 2 gank you? Did you not really know that Twitch jungle will kind of almost always level 2 gank mid? Did you just not have good vision? Or even if you had good vision, were you not looking at the mini map? Or were you not playing towards the vision? Did you expect that you would be safe even though you weren't? You know, were you playing Ahri and you had ult and you used it to go for a trade? You think you can attack the enemy, you know, and right after, like 10 seconds later, you don't have flash, you just use your ult, then you get ganked. You know, you used your escape to trade, but it wasn't, you should have saved it just because what if the enemy jungler is there? What if the enemy support is roaming, you know? So I'd recommend just going through this once, just kind of take a look at it.
Yeah, for sure. I requested access.
Okay. Let me go to my email real quick.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, of course. Yes, you should be added now.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. And you can go over it now. If you have any questions, you can go over it later if you'd rather do that.
I'll probably just go over it later. That way I'm not reading while wasting your time, you know?
Yeah, you're good. No, I mean, again, it's not really, none of it's going to be wasting my time. It's getting you to, if that's what helps you learn, that's what helps you learn. That's kind of more what it is, this coaching session is.
Fair enough.
You know, with this game, I also see you have, this is really good farm, 7.3, especially compared to 6.4. That's another CS per minute over her.
Some of them I can come online, but then once I start falling behind, it's like I'm not coming back.
Yeah. Also, another thing, very important on mid laners, kill participation. You seem to have pretty good kill participation in these recent games. You pretty much every game want to have at least 50%, especially on something like an Ahri where you get to roam a lot. Orianna, your kill participation is going to be a little lower just because, you know, Orianna is going to be not roaming quite as much as someone like Ahri. There's not too much to get from these. I did notice you like to go precision.
Yeah.
I was just wondering why you get the, I'm guessing, coup de grace. Oh, no.
Yeah, I got that one and Triumph, yeah.
Okay. Have you experimented with Glacial Ahri?
I've tried it once or twice, but like most people around where I've been playing the Glacial Ahri, they're like, yo, that's garbage, you're trolling. And I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm usually too hard-headed to mute the chat.
Not gonna lie, Glacial is definitely stronger in most situations than Electrocute, but I find it boring personally.
Yeah, the Glacial?
You don't do as much damage, and you have to play around your team a little bit more, but...
I enjoy catching them and then just dumping on them.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, personally, I usually go, what is it? What's the blue tree? Let me...
Sorcery?
Sorcery. I usually like to go either Mana Flow, Transcendence, or Gathering Storm.
Yeah, fair enough. It gives you a way of scaling too.
Go Null Orb, Nullifying Orb, especially if you're into someone like, if you're facing someone like Fizz, that extra magic resist can be really helpful.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But again, it changes from game to game. And then I also would recommend experiment with the attack speed shard instead of the extra adaptive force.
Okay, was it for like CSing reasons?
Not only does it help you CS more, it's also, yes, the 9 adaptive force will come in handy in trading, but that also lets you trade your minion. Like during the wave, you can auto attack more the enemy more as well. It lets you get more minions. It also lets you have better wave control and kind of manipulate and auto the wave a lot more, so you can push faster if you want to.
Fair enough.
I think I personally find it better on most mages. Someone like Syndra doesn't really need the auto attack speed that much, but on champions like Ahri, LeBlanc, possibly even Orianna, I think it's very useful.
I'll have to try that out.
So again, that's something for you to experiment with yourself. I think it's very useful to have. So I've kind of gone over the pregame, the champion pool. And then what do you usually think about before the game? Like, you're in the loading screen for this game.
Yeah, what was I thinking on that one? I usually try and like formulate a little bit of a plan going into it.
Okay, that's good.
But I used to main AD carry, and then, like switching over to mid, it's a little bit different trying to formulate that plan without knowing like the ins and outs of what you're trying to do, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess mid is like it's so much more dynamic than playing AD carry.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know where to start with that plan.
Yeah,
really.
with ADC, you pretty much only just need to think about you need to think about your support, the enemy support, and your jungles, kinda, and that's about it. You know, do you guys win the 3v3? Do you win the 2v2? But with mid lane, you kind of need to think about your lane. Mid lane, I like to think of as a 2v2.
Mm. Yeah, because like you and your jungler kind of thing.
Yeah, it's you and your jungler versus the enemy mid and the enemy jungler. Sometimes the jungler doesn't play around mid, and that can be a little frustrating. That tilts me a lot sometimes, but most of the time I think it's try to think about it as a 2v2. So this is you and let's go to the game we're going to look at. This is you and Hecarim versus Lee Sin Swain. So what I like to think about, I've played a lot of jungle this season too. So jungle, you really need to think about what your plan is for the game, because you need to think about pathing and where you're going to gank, what lanes to play around. But it's very helpful for mid lane to do that too, because that also gives you want to think about from the Lee Sin's perspective. For one of my biggest problems is I get ganked and I die. And I was really bad about that. I was stuck gold because I would die a lot in lane, and that stopped me from getting ahead. And when I would, in the pregame, I would think about, if I were this Lee Sin, where would I path? You know, Teemo versus Yorick. Teemo's ranged. He's probably going to be able to push Yorick in early levels, pre-6, so it might be kind of hard to gank unless I want to dive. Mid lane, it's a ranged versus ranged. Probably not too much fighting is going to be going on. You know, they might trade here and there. And then bot lane, it looks like if you're playing against a Pyke, they're always going to be aggressive. I would guess that Lee Sin would probably want to play around that early, bait Pyke to go in and then gank or counter gank. Be interesting to see what he does, but just kind of think about, and then I would also try to think about what can you do during the game. You know, if you get 6, if you get the potential to roam, do you think you can play with Hecarim and invade the Lee Sin? Very possibly. If you go bot lane, Senna's fairly easy to kill, especially with Dark Harvest. That's a very greedy spell. They have double heal for whatever reason, but if you try to go bot, that's pretty easy to get a kill.
Mm-hmm.
If you go top, if you have red trinket, pretty easy. Actually, phase rush might be kind of hard, especially with his shrooms, but Yorick, I think, does beat Teemo post 6.
I find a lot of the games I try and play for more like bot or like being an ass to the jungler kind of thing.
Yeah.
I kind of like ignore top, and I don't know why. Maybe just because I played AD carry before.
Yeah, that's fair. I usually play around bot a lot too, but when I'm jungle for whatever reason, I end up playing top and mid more. But when I'm mid, I usually play bot. Um, let's see anything else. I mean, you said you should have dodged that game there. I mean, with dodging, I would recommend if someone on your team, if you have multiple people on your team first timing champs and they're off roll, so like you have 3 ADC mains, you know, that might be a good time to dodge. Or if someone's on like a really big winning or losing streak and is obviously tilted, it might be good to dodge. But for the most part, I wouldn't dodge most games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more just like my headspace kind of thing. I
Yeah.
probably shouldn't even played the game with what was going on in the champ select.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that helped me climb a lot was, you know when to play the game. This kind of, you want to make sure that when you're playing ranked, you are at 100%. You know, you are playing to win. And obviously, there are other game modes. I've seen you've been playing a bit of flex and some norms and everything, which isn't bad.
A little bit of messing around, you know.
I know some people say don't do that, but honestly, that's fine. Just, it's a game, have fun with it, but just make sure that when you're playing ranked, you are 100% alert. You're really focused on not only winning, but also trying to actively improve and work on something. I would recommend trying to learn one to three concepts every game. And it's not like you're gonna learn those 3 concepts in one game. You're gonna have to probably play 10 to 20, maybe even more, to learn that concept. So if you're focusing on arbitrarily, so the first 10 games you might focus on farming during the lane and then not dying to ganks. Those might be the two things you really work on that game, right?
Oh, that makes sense.
And, just always play to learn, and that's how you're going to climb, and try to figure out and analyze, could I have lived there instead of dying to that gank? Why did I die to that gank? Did I have enough vision? Was I leaning towards the vision, or was I had the vision on bot side, I had the raptors warded, but for whatever reason I was near the top bush. Most of the stuff's fairly obvious, you'll know, but fairly self-explanatory. Let me go to your page real quick and I'll try to get the VOD ready to go. Do you have any questions about anything?
No, I don't think so. He got a good little breakdown here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna study the hell out of it later.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is just letting you know what you should focus on.
But it's also good too, like knowing what I can or what I should be focusing on will make it more efficient while I'm playing and trying to learn.
Yeah, so let me share the game real quick.
All right,
so let's load it. So there's an invade. So I'm guessing your HackerM just...
I'm pretty sure you just ran it down. I don't really remember this one.
Wanted to make sure that you had a rough game.
I tried to face this out of my memory, Yeah.
There's really not much you can do about that. I love all the spam pinging.
What have the Ravens?
I could just tell what's going on in your head and your team's head, but...
It sucks that he started E too, because that puts him more behind.
Yeah, that puts HackerM behind. I mean, Swain started his E as well, which it's not horrible, but it's definitely... I think you're supposed to start Q on Swain. I don't really know how Swain works too well, but
I think the Q would be beneficial, but is there something that like is there any way I can abuse that at level 1, right?
I'm not too sure. I mean, you definitely, I would say with that word there, I think that was you put it, I would be looking to play pretty aggressive level 1. Try to, so right now you're playing back pretty far. And this goes back to the posturing where you position in the lane, whether you go defensively, offensively, if you position in the minions or outside of the minions.
So actually, knowing that he took his E, should I have just right out pushed this lane, this wave?
I don't know if I would push it like really fast so that it just immediately crashes. But I would try to push faster than him. And what I mean by that is I wouldn't be constantly autoing and constantly trying to get Q on all of the minions. But I would try to Q him, but also hit the minions.
Yeah, grab like a couple kind of thing.
You can see my cursor, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. I can see what you're highlighting though.
Oh, you can't see my cursor?
I can't actually see the cursor. No, I thought it was the cursor.
Okay, let me swap it to maybe if I share my screen. Am I able to share my screen? Screen, yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So you're standing all the way back here. If you were standing right here, you'd be positioned a little more aggressive. You can throw your Q out, and the range will probably go from here to here-ish. You would be able to both push the wave and hit the Swain at the same time.
I think my worry here was if I were to go up like that, he catches the E on me and pulls me into the wave.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. One thing I like to do, what I found that really works best is Swain E is a pretty short projectile in width. It's pretty easy to, if you go up, click, there, click, if you do that a lot, really quickly, your character will move back and forth, and it'll be very difficult for him to actually land it.
Hit him with the all razzle dazzle.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've done
you.
much of that, but if I'm not sure if that makes much sense, but if while you're walking up here, or while you're positioned right here, pretend you're positioned where this minion is. If you're walking back and forth this way, if he throws his E out, you can either try to quickly juke this way or this way, and it'll be pretty difficult for him to make it and actually hit you. If you want to ideally be clicking very often, very quickly when you're in lane.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, you moved forward and then back again, but there's no real reason for you to.
True.
I mean, it's not horrible, but another thing is I would recommend going for the Q on him. Notice how your minion is getting really low.
Yeah, make him pay for getting that minion.
Usually, sometimes you're able to throw out an ability and you can land it regardless, but he's going for this minion right there with that auto. There's that quarter of a second where he's standing still, and if you throw your Q, you hit it, and he gets the farm is one option, that one outcome that comes of it. Another outcome is he decides I'm not going to go for the minion because I don't want to get hit by the Q, so he doesn't get the minion, and you hit him. And the third outcome is he sees you throw the Q, so he decides to give up the minion, but still gets hit by your Q anyway, which is the best outcome.
True.
So going for the Q or going for your E, if you had your E right now, if you were level 2, if you were standing right here and he's positioned right there, you should wait till he goes for the minion, then you can throw your charm from here to here, and it's guaranteed. This is also a lot easier in theory when you can pause the video game, when you can pause it and then take a look and really analyze where are you standing. And when you can also see, oh, the jungler's starting red, he's not going to be looking to level 2 gank you and nothing else. You know, it's a lot easier in a replay, but
Oh yeah, hindsight 2020.
Yeah, but these are those sorts of things you want to at least try to be analyzing during your game.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I don't think that's a very good cue because there's no real chance you hit him with it. Not sure if you can go back any slower. So again, you go for it for those. Because if you were going to just use your Q on the wave, you might as well try to have done it when you'd also hit him.
True.
Because there was an opportunity. Like, if he was standing back here that whole time, and there was no chance for you to hit him and the wave, that's reasonable. But, again, it's not a big deal. So you are pushing the wave in, which is good. See, my guess is right now he's going to try to throw his E out at you. And I haven't seen it. This is what I would probably do if I was a Swain. It is, I see you, you're not behind minions, and you're close. You still don't have your Q up, right? This is a very easy time for him to get his E off on you.
Fair enough.
And what I would like to see from you is that you see this, you start walking toward him, you expect him, and you know that he started E. If you do. I'm not sure if you do, but I'm not sure if you were watching the level 1 invade and saw him doing that, but
I did see him get pulled. Yeah.
Okay. So what I would like to see is you walk up here and then immediately juke downward. So that way you bait out his E, but he misses it because you walk down when he expects you to keep walking toward him.
Now, would it be better to go downward, just out of habit, or should I try and go towards the middle of the lane away in case at least it's closer?
Out of habit, you want to be unpredictable. So ideally, it'd be random whether or not you go up or you go down.
Fair enough.
I tend to juke downward, which can be a flaw because sometimes the enemy mid laner might realize, oh shoot, he always jukes down. But for the most part, people, even up to my elo, don't really pick up on that, and they just see, oh shit, he dodged it. They don't really find my dodging pattern and see, oh yeah, he always dodges down. But yeah, so I see you walking toward him, and the reason that I think you could do this is if your minions were low, that's when I think you should go for this trade. And if
then
your
he's
Q
focused
was
on
up.
me and loses 3 minions.
Wait, what?
You were saying if my minions are low,
Yeah.
then I walk out like this, because then he's focused on me and loses 3 minions.
However, if you take this trade, assuming you even dodge his E, you're going to miss these minions because you're also trading in his minions. So these minions are going to start attacking you. I haven't seen the VOD before. I'm not sure if you do make a trade here or not, or if you just start walking away, or if he just walks away. But my guess is from how this will play out is that he'll try to E you and you're going to go for a short little trade here. His minions are low. You're going to probably miss a couple of these creeps. You're going to take a lot more damage from this trade because you're going to be taking minion aggro, and he's going to hit the E, and you're probably not going to dodge it. Also important to note, the Lee Sin's there. You won't see that, but there'll be a quarter of a second where he might level 2 gank you, where you can see him on the mini-map, which if you're going for a trade, you're not going to be looking at the mini-map. So you might die because of that.
I think that's exactly what happens too.
Okay. Yeah, so the Swain ended up actually just walking away. But yeah. So.
Doom.
Yeah. That's just unfortunate. But again, if we go back, I think this one all stems from you're playing aggressive. If you were playing back safer, like I said you should, because his minions are kind of low, you should be focused on last hitting. You should be looking at the mini-map, especially because you have the ward. I would recommend staying more in the center of the lane if you don't have that ward out, but since you do have that vision out, look at the mini-map pretty often, because there is a chunk of seconds where
Yeah, he shows quickly there.
he shows up, because he shows up here. So you could see him. Also, one other thing to know that you can see him is if you press tab, you can see that he has 4 minion kills. Even if he's still camping in this bush and you didn't catch him walk through the fog of war, you'll see, oh, his farm has gone up. That means
the information updates.
That means that he has shown on the map in our vision the only place he could have shown on our vision is either bot lane. He's not bot. Their bot isn't even there yet.
Or right there.
Or he showed right here, and he's not on Raptors.
Yeah.
You know, he might have walked up here, but that's very unlikely that he would walk
past the Raptors.
That he would walk up this way just to walk down back towards blue. So it's very likely that he's going for that gank, which, again, that's some stuff that very hindsight oriented, but
yeah, that's an interesting dynamic I need to be more attention.
It's also
more aware of.
Yeah, and you saw him. The big part of juking and a big part of dodging abilities is prediction. You know, you see him start to walk up, so you need to, not there, but you see. Yeah, again, this is a rough pocket to be playing in, but you see him start walking. He doesn't really show it that well.
I did try and go for the juke.
Yeah, I saw that.
The attempt was there.
Yeah, the attempt was there. That wasn't too bad. I'm not sure if Lee Sin showed there at the beginning or not, but if he did, the best course of action is just to flash the Swainy. Okay, that's not bad. That was a really good trade.
It was bad that I walked backwards.
Let's go back and watch it again. God, I hate this. That it just shows keep swapping.
I think I could have just kept walking forward on him and then punish him harder.
Yeah. You can keep running him down.
That was control.
I mean, again, I don't think you want to keep. I think that was probably the last auto you could have gotten, because otherwise you'd be walking into his minion wave and you'd take a lot more damage than him up to that point. It's also important to note, he has teleport, you only have ignite.
True.
So even if he takes 75% of his health like this, if he were to get you to half health, he can just reset, buy, teleport back, and then he's full health and you're half health.
Yeah, then you're in a predicament.
So yeah, so that's very important. You really have to manage your resources well when you're playing against a teleport. So let's keep playing. That was a good trade you had there. Up to this point, I would recommend, oh my god, keep swapping. Just try to push the wave with him. You want to try to keep it here if you can in the wave, I would recommend. You don't...
If you double click on my portrait, it won't switch on you.
Okay, thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, I'd recommend trying to queue this wave here. You want to freeze it so he can't reset. Do you know how to like wave manipulation much at all, or?
I'm not an expert, but I know like a little bit of it. Was it like 4 minions and you can hold the freeze? 4 minions on top of your wave?
Just basically, if he has more minions than yours, you'll freeze. You want to try to freeze around here, generally.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wouldn't recommend tanking these minions.
Especially not the cannon in there, yeah.
Because, yeah, you take a lot of damage. It's not worth freezing it for that. However, right there, it looked impossible to freeze it. But if you look at it right here, this is very freezable. You know, if you kept autoing his minions, you would have been able to freeze it. But you kind of just walk around. You auto a couple. But you let him push a lot more. And a lot faster. If you used your Q, for example, you would have been able to kill a couple of the minions and been able to keep your minion wave alive and taken his out a little faster.
Yeah, maybe made it into something that I could have tanked.
Yeah, because if he's able to crash this wave, he can reset, then walk back to lane and save his teleport still.
Okay. That's definitely something that I don't really think about. Is like, if I stop it here, now he can't go back, then TP back.
So, in regards to the wave manipulation, you want to think about, am I vulnerable to a gank? If yes, you probably don't want to be pushing up past this line, if possible. You want to think, is the enemy vulnerable to a gank? It's a Swain, so yes, always. You want to think, who has the resource advantage? You have the health advantage, but I would say that Swain has the resource advantage here because he has teleport. And he can take a bad reset whenever he wants, so he can come back to lane. You have 1 health pot. He also still has 2 corrupting pots, so he might not even want a base yet. But yeah, in regards to wave manipulation, you kind of want to think about what you're going to do in advance. You're lucky this does freeze for you. So, but that's kind of lucky. But you also break the freeze.
Yeah.
Because if you don't break the freeze, his minions will kill all 6 of your minions. So if he resets here, which he does, and he doesn't teleport back, he will just immediately miss the experience and the gold from all 6 of these minions, right?
And me pushing it gives him 130 gold.
Yeah, and you pushing it, yeah, these front minions might die, but he still gets some of these minions, and the wave will still be back on his side, probably slow pushing back towards you, which that can be nice, but you can have the wave on your side the whole time and deny him this, you know?
Yeah, and it's not like I'm close to getting my lost chapter to have to go back
Yeah.
anyway.
If you were able to delay the push by another second or 2 or whatever, you would have had a better freeze going. And if, again, you used your Q to get that farm, sometimes it's better to give up that minion. Just so that you can have... Because you miss 1 minion worth of gold, but then you deny him 4. You know? So you miss some, but he misses more. So it's a net win for you.
That makes sense.
I think it still pushes into him. But just getting team gapped over here.
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, it's ranked. Again. Yeah. Can work on your farming a little more too, but that's small stuff. Right here, I would recommend just hard pushing. Like, cue the wave.
I already set things in motion.
Yeah.
Get it there now.
Yeah, because again, if he wants to freeze it, he's going to have to take a lot of minion aggro. I would like to see a Q right now through the wave. Good. Okay, you got it. So you probably have to play pretty safe now. And you probably want to... Yeah. Here, I would say that's a bit of a mistake from you. That was your best time to recall. Right there. Because your minions are on his tower. He's either going to freeze and take a lot of damage, which he really shouldn't do. Which it looks like he did do a little bit. But most importantly, this is a cannon wave, so this will take a long time for Swain to push it in.
Yeah, he'd never get that to tower by the time I got back.
You don't have a lot of gold, but you have enough that you can get at least another Doran's, or you could get a Dark Seal, or you can get an Amp Tone, you know?
Would that be... Oh, I guess I could have went the Amp Tome, actually.
Yeah, you can get the Mana Crystal, Sapphire Crystal. But, again, you notice that you have the wave pushed in. You wasted about... Let's see... Did it go back? Yeah. So right here. If you walk right here, if you back right now, you have a lot of minions, so he's going to let this come hit his tower. The minions are still probably about 10 seconds away from hitting, maybe 15 from hitting in the center. His minions are going to hit here first. They're going to be delayed. And so the minions are probably going to, you know, meet around here, I would guess. Right? And just as a general rule of thumb, if both sides have the same number of minions, it's going to push towards the side that it's not currently on. So if it's right here, both teams have 6 minions, it's going to push toward you. If the minions are right here, it's going to push this way. Right?
Makes sense. Because the next wave's going to get there quicker and then build.
And another thing is, you also don't need to reset right here. It's just, this is probably going to be your best opportunity for a while, since he has a big resource advantage on you.
It's also a free, like, quarter mana.
Yeah.
That I could have got.
I wouldn't necessarily think about it that way, just because he already has you already have pretty full mana. You know, maybe you could have gone for a trade with him there before resetting because you plan on resetting, so you might try to get some of his health out before, but I think it's fine to just reset immediately. But you also you also don't have your ward up. If you had your ward up, you could say maybe I'll ward here, play towards bot side, or I'll ward up here and I'll play towards top side. Scuttle's spawning. You know, your jungler's probably gonna want to go fight the Lee Sin for Scuttle and die. But surprised he hasn't actually gotten a Scuttle.
Die.
But yeah, I would recommend if you go reset here, how do you check the amount of
What, the gold?
Gold, yeah. Do you know that setting? X. Awesome. So yeah, you have 618. That's enough for you to pink ward and an amp tone. You know?
Yeah, that definitely would have been worth it.
Because you don't really miss that much by resetting here. You might miss 1 or 2 of these creeps. But you also have to think about it. Will you, in 3 waves for the next cannon wave, be able to reset without losing much? Especially versus someone who has teleport. Because he can force you to stay in the lane way too long when you don't have flash, you don't have teleport. He does. He has more items than you. You don't. You know?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't reset here, you know, you waste 10 seconds that you could have been. If you weren't resetting, I would recommend go out, try to get vision. But let's put on all. Again, this pushes toward you. You see Lee Sin's top, so you can be pushing this, but you have to be really careful because you don't have flash. So I think it's good for you not to be playing too aggressively because he has item advantage.
Yeah, I think I was thinking at this time, like, it's going to push towards me, and then when it builds up, you know, I can try and crash something into him after.
Yeah, but again, I don't think you wouldn't be able to easily get that crash off into him because he has the resource advantage. It's hard for you to get that crash into him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You have to think about it that way. He might not contest your push, but if he is playing well, he will try to. You know? Yeah. Again, that's kind of lucky. That was really good movement there. Especially dodging. That was really good movement by you. And to dodge that gank. I would also like to see you... I see you ping it. Try to, you know, add 5 minutes to that. No, that's when his flash comes back up.
Mm-hmm.
So you should, maybe not right now, but just take a note. Type, maybe right now, because you have a free second. Type in chat. Oh yeah, Swain flash. I don't know if this is a very good roam, because he's going to die no matter what.
I was thinking he'd try and W over the wall,
Yeah.
but...
Yeah. But again, now you don't get to push your wave in very well.
Mm-hmm. That would have been a better play.
But,
And I missed a couple too.
yeah, it's easier in hindsight. Again, right here, you're left with the spot. Swain wants to reset here, right? If you want, you can just keep these minions alive, leave the minion wave right here. Just kind of stand there. The minions will attack you for a second. Then your minions will arrive and be here. Then he'll have 3 plus this. And then if he resets, he's going to miss all of this wave, right? Because you're freezing it.
Yeah.
If instead of queuing that wave, which, again, you don't have to freeze it, but that's another option. Right now, freezing it isn't a good idea because he still has teleport, right? But if you're in this game and you're analyzing, do I want to push? I see him running away. He probably wants to reset. He's kind of low.
It's also worth thinking, like, if I froze that there, and then his cannon wave comes closer to me, and he TP's back, my whole team's on Dragon. Wouldn't the thought be like, all right, that's pretty a good play for me because they could come in and help, kind of thing?
Yeah.
Or is that just not even something you would think about?
I mean, I wouldn't think too much about that. I mean, I figure Dragon's already kind of won because that's making a weird noise hovering over it. But, you know, their bot is pushed in, so they're not going to really want to rotate. the jungler just die, he's not going to be able to steal it. So I think Dragon's pretty free. You can you can pan over and see it's already at. They're going to take it pretty quickly.
No, I just meant like for my wave management, knowing that my team's on Dragon, if he TPs back, then they could like punish him for TPing kind of thing.
Yes.
If I froze it.
But I don't think they would because, again, he's probably going to TP here. They're still on Dragon. By the time he TPs back, they're probably not going to be done with Dragon.
True.
But my thought is that if you freeze here and he TPs back, you're forced into this lane state for a while.
True.
But there's also the option that if you start pushing this wave, like you are. Right. Oh, he doesn't back. But imagine... Yeah, he was going to, and then he started pushing. But imagine if he'd reset and he started teleporting to this minion. Right?
Mm-hmm.
You really want to back right now. You'll have your 1,300 gold after this wave. Right?
I think that's why I was trying to push it too. I'm figuring that he was going to back.
Yeah, but you have your 1,300 gold after this wave, so you want to push it. If he resets and teleports right back, he can kill some of your minions, but then try to freeze it himself. Right? Does that make sense? Because if he freezes it, then if you decide to back, you miss a whole wave. You miss the next wave.
Mm-hmm.
And he can have the wave over on his side. Again, that's not necessarily something he will do, or it's just something you need to be aware of what he might want to do with the wave and what you might want to do with the wave.
True.
I'm not telling you this is what you need to do in this game, this is what you should do in this situation. It's just try to think about if you do this with the wave, how do you think Swain will react with doing, what do you think he'll do to the wave?
Yeah, like what are the consequences of me pushing this wave?
Yeah. What are the consequences if you tried to freeze it there? If he teleported back, he could try to push you in under tower and keep hard pushing you under tower, so you would never be able to reset without a gank from ARAM. Right? Does that make sense? So let's go back to...
If I remember this game correctly, ganks from ARAM were not a
thing,
hot commodity.
But yeah, if you freeze right here, he resets and teleports back. He can shove this under tower. You will never be able to reset unless you get ARAM to come. You know? So I do think this is a good... Imagine he doesn't have teleport. You're facing an Akali and she has Ignite. If instead of queuing that wave, you just wait for the minions to meet up, you can just walk here, base, and reset while the minions are fighting. You're going to miss some, right?
But she'll lose more.
And that's your best opportunity for a reset. Which...
True.
That's something that I don't always do it. Sometimes it's better than others. But you miss some, but they miss more, so it's a net win. That's, again, sometimes you're able to deny them the whole wave or something else, but that's one way to possibly come out on top. It just, again, you have to think about what do you think will be best in this situation. Nice job farming that wave. You've gotten it all so far. Yeah. You probably... Ooh. Yeah.
Close your eyes.
Nah. That was well done by him. He had a good sidestep there to dodge it, but... And now you have to reset, because you have no pressure in this lane, right? So he can push it in and deny you this whole wave. One option could have been that you could just sit here out of Fog of War, right? If you were sitting here, he pushed the wave. You can wait to see. You can recall right here, and be in the midst of your recall, right? And decide to cancel it if you see him use all of his mana to push the wave, right?
Right. Give him the fake recall.
Because if you give him the fake recall, and he uses that on the wave, then you can come back and collect it for free. But if he doesn't, then you can just recall anyway because he still has a mana to kill you otherwise, right?
True.
So, again, that's just another thing to think of. Let's speed up.
I think I wasn't happy with myself when losing that wave, to be honest.
Yeah. Another thing to note, I usually like to get a refillable every back if I can, every first back of the game, just because it's so useful.
Actually, how much gold do I have? So
You
after
didn't.
that last chapter,
I don't think you had enough, but
I could have got a ward though.
nah, you didn't have enough. But
True.
again, you if you stayed for that last wave after Swain used it, you would have had enough for either the refillable or the pink, right? You remember the one that I said fake recall?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just based immediately, you would have been able to get either a refillable, a regular pot, or a pink. But think about the lane now. Yes, you're up farm. Yes, you have a lost chapter. He has catalyst, but he has 3 corrupting pots. You have nothing. You have your passive, but he has 3. If you take a trade, even if it's bad for him, he can just heal it up, and you won't be able to heal as much, so it's a net win for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that
I also have Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter.
Yeah.
I guess Ravenous Hunter doesn't really kick in yet.
you don't have any assists. Taste of Blood is, again, only if you use a Q, and that's fairly minimal. And you do have your passive, which will heal you a bit. But he'll heal a lot, and I think it's very important to at least, again, maybe when you're playing Ahri, when you have Taste of Blood and you have your passive, you don't need the refillable or you don't need the health pot. But
that's what's concerning, that he has more sustain on me right now.
But you need to at least consider, do I need to buy the refillable? Because if you get in that habit of you never buy it because you play Ahri, what happens when you play Orianna?
True.
What happens when you don't take it? You don't really think about it and you just lose lane immediately because you don't have any sustain when he has a lot. When you're up against Corrupting Pot, it's very important to make sure you at least have some sustain in the lane. And
True.
Usually it's better to just stay that extra wave to get Lost Chapter, plus even if it's just a red health pot, or stay that extra wave to get the refillable. Sometimes it's better to maybe not even get the Lost Chapter, get most of the components, get a refillable and a pink instead. Because then you'll be able to continue taking trades. And then the next back you can get it. You know, again, it changes from game to game based on who you're playing and everything else. This looks like it might not be a great gank for you to go for, just because you don't have ult, but it looks like it'll probably work out. Yeah. I'd recommend you help them push this in. See how first plate. So
The scumbag him like that, eh?
Maybe not even take all the farm, but you know, you're gonna be missing some of this. Actually, I think that's fine in this situation because you're not going to miss much because your minions are going to meet up with his. So this isn't going to crash. So you have time to get back to the mid wave, right?
Yeah, I think my thinking was like, all right, I got this. It's cannon wave. Let me get back here quick.
Okay.
Because he's trying to push.
Okay, good. But if it was already crashing and there was no way you get to that wave, you're better off soaking XP with them so that way you don't get behind in experience.
True. That makes sense.
But I agree, in this situation it is better, but it's not about knowing, oh, you happen to get the right decision. You have to think, was my thought process correct coming to that decision? Also,
yeah, because you can just get lucky and make that one, right?
Small thing, I would be nice to the jungler, throw an auto or two while you're walking past it. Help his mental.
True.
Especially, seems a little tilted after that first dying level 1.
That's why I didn't help him.
But,
sucker.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. You kind of could tell that he was going to throw his E out, and you did end up dodging it. But because of that, he's able to zone you from the wave.
I should have just walked back to the tower. I didn't have a Z.
Yeah.
Maybe I took a Q, but I don't lose the half the wave.
So yeah, let's go back real quick. It's frozen. Let's see. All right. So we're not going to see anything. No, but so you when you're walking back to the mid wave, you should be panning your camera. I can't see what you were looking at if you were looking at your character model. But you should be looking at the wave. You should be looking at where everything is. if that makes sense. You should see where the minions are. Does he have more minions? Is it pushing into me or is it pushing into him?
Mm-hmm.
Is Swain healthy? Which side of the wave is he on? And that kind of, you can use that to decide, do I walk through the way that you walked, which is this way on the minimap? Or do you need to walk the safe way, which is around here and in through here? Maybe some games you need to walk the really safe way and walk this way. You know?
True. I probably should have came the safe way anyway. That way,
Yeah.
if he did hit that E, I didn't get
You
shit
didn't
on.
need to, but it probably would have been better. I'm probably going to have to reload this, but so let's say this is a Zed and you're Ahri at 75% health. Even if you walk this safe way, Zed will kill you. Right?
True.
Zed will be able to one-shot you from 75% health if he has his W up, for sure. I'm going to restart this because this is not working. But end task. Cool. It's still showing, but it exited. That's kind of cool. Small indie company.
Multi-dollar company.
Yeah. Okay. How do I spell your account name again?
ENBEAU.
All right. And I'll try not to do too much of this micro sort of stuff again for the rest of it and try to more analyze other stuff for the rest of this VOD. But
It's definitely helpful, even the little
But yeah.
things.
but these are the things that I think you should really need to focus on are like minion wave state. What are you doing? Analyze. Am I making the right decision? Right around here. So yeah, you should be looking while you're walking to the wave. You should be looking here. See that he's pushing, and because you see that he's pushing, he's up here. He has a large minion wave. You should not be walking this way. You can do this and bait it when you're right here. You have the minions there, so you're fine. You should tell, yeah, he's gonna immediately throw that out, and you know, oh yeah, I'm gonna juke this way. You dodge it, and you were in the clear here, but for some reason you walk this way. Again,
Yeah,
that's a
it's pretty
micro.
troll.
That's a micro thing, but you walk this way, and you even had a second, but you go for that auto, and then he's able to still zone you.
Yeah.
You know.
I think I initially went that way for the orb against the wave, but it probably wasn't even worth it.
And again, that's not a bad trade because you took a decent amount of his health, right?
Yeah.
Except it's horrible because you missed like 7 farm. This is what you want to do to him. You want to go for these trades when he's going for farm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than go for trades when you need to be farming. It's a lot easier said than done, and it's never 100% of the time you do this, 100% of the time you do that. It's very situationally dependent, but you need to be asking yourself, is this a good time for me to go for a trade?
Yeah, for sure. I think at that point I was like, all right, I already screwed up my positioning. This guy's walking up. I'm gonna at least win the trade.
Yeah. And now you can see,
Instead of
yeah,
losing
this is very good for you to go in. You see that he uses farm. I didn't even notice ARAM was ganking. I'm not sure if you did, but
I had no idea.
yeah. You would have been able to get that kill probably even without ARAM. So that was a very good trade to go for. And yeah, you want to push this in. You notice he has 5 seconds left. I'd be checking tab to see how much farm he has left. You also know he has teleport still, so he could just TP that. He does. And then try to freeze.
Yeah, me moving around like that's like, what do I do now? What do I want to do?
Yeah, you should just be trying to push the wave in, make sure it goes under tower, and then reset. Because you can't really go for a plate. I want to see you reset right now. Alright. Because, see, you have a lot of gold. You have boots, a blasting wand. That's 850. Yeah, you have boots, blasting wand, refillable, and a pink.
I think I was going to recall, but I saw the wave coming up, and I was like, maybe
Yeah.
it's better if I just push it again.
That's fair. That's just unlucky that your E didn't hit, but
That charm upset me.
That-
I was
that
like,
was
yes,
very-
he's going in a tower.
that was a very good flash. You flashed knowing that he was going to kill you if you didn't. Again, throw your Q after the minion or the tower hits it, but that's small stuff. That's not a big deal. But again, you want to reset on cannon wave, so I can understand you not wanting to reset there. But just know that you're at a huge disadvantage now. You have 2 kills, you have more farm up, but he's spent more money than you.
Yeah.
So he's at the advantage here. And so yeah, now he's able to zone you off the minions. And I see you're pinging for help, but you're in gold, your jungler's not going to help.
True.
He's
but
not
at least
gonna
I can
understand.
recognize that I was on the disadvantage here.
Yeah. I'm glad you understood it, but it's more than just that. You want to understand it, and then also come to learn how can I avoid it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. One sec.
No worries.
All right. Sorry, one of my friends wanted to play.
Yeah, no worries.
Double click. Yeah. So yeah, now he's able to zone you, and if you were gonna get a good reset, it would be you shove this wave in quickly, and then back. But you're not gonna be able to shove this wave in quickly. Which is why I was saying I don't think you're gonna get a good recall. But this is back in that wave when I said I want to see you recall here. Because you're not going to get a good recall anywhere, but that, I think, was the best one you were going to get without jungle help.
Basically, yeah, like the best of the worst kind of thing.
Because you're still going to miss some, and I know I would be hesitant to just immediately recall there. Because you know you're going to miss some. But you're going to miss the least, most likely,
right.
Unless your jungler can realize that and comes and helps you. And in gold, junglers aren't going to come and help you. Because, again, if you had bought your Blasting Wand, you'd be able to one-shot these minions with your Q and be able to reset a lot faster, but yeah. It's just important to be able to understand, what am I doing? What am I doing wrong? Or can I fix it? So yeah. You have to use your ult now. And now you have to get a really bad reset off here. Your pipe hits. But you have to get a bad reset off here now. And what's the difference between this bad reset and the other one? He's able to push this faster, so you miss even more than you would have if you reset the earlier one, you know?
Yeah, true.
So, just think about it, you know. Will this be a good reset? Will this... Everything else, you know. Another thing is, you know, I could be focusing more on the macro and everything else, but I found that, especially in gold, the best thing you can do to climb is to be consistently having better wave manipulation, resets, and constantly win your lane through that sort of micro advantages rather than having better macro. Especially if you're going to be playing a champ like Ahri or Orianna. Ahri, not as much, because you can roam pretty well on Ahri, but if you're playing Orianna, you want to have better wave manipulation.
Yeah.
But...
Because now you can follow like everybody as Ori.
Also, I want to see this. Okay. I was going to say you're spending a lot of time in base, but you were just waiting gold. Again. I might not have gotten Ludens. I might have tried to go for the refillable tier 1 boots and the blasting wand and a pink ward, so that way I could roam more.
Right.
Because Ludens is a bit of AP and you get the cooldown reduction, but it doesn't help you push it any faster on Ahri, really. On a champion like LeBlanc, I need that extra... The active when I W the back minions. My W with blasting wand won't kill them. But if I have Ludens, the Ludens proc will kill them, so I can push a lot faster. But on champion like Ahri, you don't need it to kill them.
It's overkill.
Yeah. So, again, that changes from game to game. If you were playing a lane where you think you're going to be able to kill the enemy mid laner a lot, yeah, I think Ludens is a good spike. But Swain is very important to be able to dodge his E as well. And I think having boots is very important to be able to do that.
Right.
Because if you get hit by his E, and Lee is there, you're dead.
As we saw.
Yeah. You know, you have no ult, but more importantly, you have no flash. Lee was the one who got your flash, so if Lee's smart, he'll re-gank you before your flash is up. Because if Swain hits it, especially when you don't have boots, you're a free kill. So you're gonna rotate here. I like that. Walking around. Hopefully you're looking at the fight. Ooh, that's lucky that didn't hit. Yeah. Jin is going for dragon. You're probably going there. That was a pike. That was a my pike queue and not the enemy team's pike queue, but I don't know if you kill him here with it's a 3v2, you probably win. Again, obviously in hindsight, that's a bad E because you missed it.
Yeah.
But even if you land it, I think that's a bad E. Because it's max range. He has all the time in the world to dodge it, right?
Yeah, why try that one?
Whereas
getting too fancy.
If you walk up towards him, and this is an important lesson just in general, holding your abilities. Because if you walk up towards him right now and you still have your charm, he has to be like, oh shit, Ahri still has charm. He has to try to juke it and play worried about your charm.
Yeah.
And if you can get closer, make him juke a little bit and then throw it, and when you're guaranteed to hit it, that's infinitely better than immediately throwing it. And then he realizes, oh, Ahri has no charm now. Because imagine if he had ult Q right now. If he had ult Q smite, he could just Q you, smite you, ult you back towards the Swain, and you might just immediately die. Again, this is a bit of a hyperbole. You probably get this kill regardless, and you wouldn't die if you had that. Okay, Pike.
Yeah, it's a little cheese on that one.
But again, that's just good to know in general. If you're able to go in and you're able to possibly get, if you held your E there, you would force him to dodge. You would force him to play around your charm like it's up. You know?
Yeah, and if I got closer and held the E, I would have actually got the kill probably.
So again, you don't always want to hold it immediately, but it's important to at least think about, should I hold it here? You know, and just with most things, you need to have the thought process behind it. Why am I doing this? Is this good for me to do this? Very nice. Ooh, that worked out well. Nicely done.
Spicy, eh?
Yeah. You see the waves here, but you probably just want to reset immediately because it's cannon wave. Push it quickly. Okay, good. You got boots. And remember, W helps you get to lane faster, slightly.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because it gives the W has a speed boost now. I think.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, you get a burst.
The W has a speed boost now, not the Q.
I would have used that.
They just changed it, so very nice charm. And this is an example of a time you did it very well with your charm. So right here, you wait till you could charm right there, but you don't know if he's gonna try to dodge, go this way or that way. And you see him commit to that way. The minions are dying. So that was a good charm. That was a situation you're probably better off not holding it. So I agree with that decision. You don't have your ult up, which is important. I think this is a bad play to go for. Personally.
You think the plates would have just been better?
I think you need to tell him to go top. And if he's not going to go top, you need to go top yourself. Because look at this.
True. Yeah, that goes back to what I was saying. I kind of like neglect top. Like it's not even in my thought process. But yeah, that definitely would have been.
You need to think about it a little more. But even if you're not going to gank Teemo, he's going to miss this whole wave, and he's probably going to miss a lot of this wave too. And
So would it be better to catch that wave or take plates mid?
I mean, that's up to you. I would probably catch the wave because you'll probably get more off the wave, and then because also he's getting plates here too. Because if you go for plates, you get plates, but he gets plates, and you miss these minions, right?
True.
But whereas if you go top, he doesn't get plates, you don't get plates, but you get minions. So
that makes sense.
That's more of a net win. Whereas right now you're here. Right now you'd probably be here. You could blast cone over and you'd be there maybe by the time this minion dies. So there'd still be 4. Possibly sooner if you rotated immediately. Yorick could go mid. You just type in chat, Yorick, push this wave mid, then go back top. You don't really want to reset after that, and then you can lane swap again, but... Let's see. See,
That's definitely alerts.
he ended up going mid. But look at that. He missed 2 waves top, and he gets first tower. I'm interested to see, does he... Look how many waves just go missing top. Hecarim ends up getting over.
But we didn't need to give first tower there.
Yeah.
I could have been there.
Yeah. Which, again, you get a lot for that. But now Teemo got a ton. You know, let's go back 30 seconds or so. Oh, please don't freeze again. Oh, I'm on 4 times. That's why it's not going back at all. What happened there? Okay, thank you. The replays are so bugged.
Yeah, that was weird. I've never seen that before.
But yeah, because you get a lot for that play bot lane. But you should either... I would recommend either go top lane or make sure your Yorick goes top lane.
True, because the play bot lane is like a small chance of actually working. It's not the 95%.
I mean, it did work out. Is that the play there? Yeah.
It looks like it.
Yeah. Again, that's a good stun. You waited till he dodged and used speed. And that worked well. Honestly, they should probably be going top here. Like, if this was a high elo game, if this was Diamond 2, Diamond 1, your bot lane would be heading top towards Teemo right now to collect this wave. And you would just shove this in, since Lee Sin is not on the map. But, yeah, he should be top. He's probably going to die to Swain because that's how it always works. But, so let me just check this out real quick. So, if it doesn't freeze again. Okay. So, let's just look at the gold values right here. From when you decided to go bot lane, right now, Teemo has 4,900 gold, you have 5,000. Right?
Yeah, it's like 100 difference.
Yeah. Let's... do all of that. You get 1,000 gold, but so does Teemo. Which is good. You get gold, so does Teemo, but also think about what does your team get and what does their team get. Your bot lane doesn't get anything. They were just walking around. You lost a lot of experience. Teemo was killing waves and waves of minions, so he got a lot of minions, so he got a lot more XP than you did.
And the same amount of gold.
Swain was getting a lot of minions mid. He's probably going to get this kill on Yorick. sorry. He's able to push it in. He gets more minions there than Yorin does. So you think, wow, I got a double kill. That's so good for my team. That's so good for me. When in reality, your team did just as well as their team because their teamo got really fed off that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, his push top equaled the 3 kills I got.
Yeah, and it's also important to note. You have a 600 gold shutdown, but you only have 400 gold more than him. He has no shutdown. So if you die, they get a lot of gold. If he dies, it doesn't mean anything. Because you're the one with all the gold. Also, I don't know if that's worth your flash, but... Because, yeah, he's worth
I think
gold.
15 seconds before, it was like, if I reacted faster, I would have killed him. And then I had the chance again. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it now.
Yeah, but that's kind of whatever. I take the honey fruit here.
I should have just been getting out.
Yeah, you should have taken that time to get the honey fruit. Because now if you die here, oh, you don't. You're lucky Heck played around you. But if he didn't, that could have gone bad.
Yeah, I think I should have just left when it was safe too.
And you should just reset or go to the farm, but he's gonna take it.
I thought he was gonna Q faster, that's why I threw a charm out.
But that's 1,000
yeah,
gold.
That's huge on him.
Like, you played very well up to this point in this game, right? However, that throw there is 100% your fault. That could have been prevented, and that's your mistake why they are back in this game from it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure this is exactly where the whole game turns around and I start feeding.
Because that is your fault. Like, I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh, this game is 100% your fault. However,
no, but it was in my control.
Yeah,
so.
but if you didn't do that, you probably would have won. You know, if instead you would just reset or... Also, imagine, like I said, when you were just hanging around this bush, imagine you got the honey fruit there like I suggested. You would have been a lot closer to full health. You would have probably been at 800 here, 900, instead of 490. You know, again, you want to hold on to your charm until you see him Q. But you thought he was going to, so your idea is in the right place.
Just hold it for a second longer. Hold it in the air.
Hold it till you see him in the air.
That's double shutdown on Lee there too.
Yeah. Ideally, if I was in your position right here, I would want to get this tower and have my team get this tower. Also, you need to go to Dragon. I'm not sure when the timer is, but it looks like very nice. Very well played by you. I know you want to go back mid and push this wave in, but you should be at Dragon. I do this a lot too. You should be at this fight. Because imagine if you were here. You land the charm, he's dead.
Yeah, they wouldn't have a chance. It wouldn't even be like a fight.
And now it's a fight, they won. If you were there, you 100% win that. And you spent that whole time kind of messing around here. It's, again, back to this, right? Getting objectives. You want to be to the objectives early. You don't want to... It's so important to get the objectives. You had 2 dragons here already. Your team had the man advantage. If you legitimately thought your team would be able to win without you, that's one thing. And that's what I'm guessing you thought. However, you need to have that thought process of who's alive on their team right here. Let's go back 30 seconds. Right here. You just get the kill, right? You need to think, My Yorick's top. We have 3 here. How many could they potentially have here? They could have 3 here. You probably saw Swain top earlier.
I think I did see Swain top.
But remember, he's there.
Yeah, the TP.
They have teleport. You don't. So you need to think about who can get to... You want to be at objectives. You want to make sure you're ready for the objectives, and it's very important to go. You know, you want to be there early. You want to set up the vision control, and you don't want to make a risky play before objective spawn. So a risky play is what that Teemo did. He played for risky vision, and he died for it. But you going for this minion wave, while it looks nice, is a very risky play, the same as him. You don't die because of it, but your team dies because of it. That's the risk of they can steal the dragon because you're not there. They can force a fight, and it's a risk because you're not there, so you don't have the man advantage now.
And there was no reason for me to think that they could win the fight without me because they had not won any fights prior without me.
Yeah, and again, you also have to think, you have most of your team's gold. Maybe not most of it, but you have the most gold on your team. You're the strongest member on your team. You know, as much as you want to push this wave in, and I do this a lot, but you want to make sure you're at the fight. And you can see, oh shoot, there's a fight going out. Fuck this cannon. You just want to go. And you're walking over. You're slow. You stop to get the honey through. You're walking around in all of it. You know. Again, that fight is your fault. Again, it's not 100% your fault. I'm not trying to say, oh, it's your fault. Because, yeah, your team should have saw that you're not there. They should have had to play it a little safer and tried to wait till you get to the fight, played it slower.
Yeah, but we can't control that.
But you can't control your teammates. You have to kind of play assuming they're stupid. Because they always are. You know? And now you're probably dead. Yeah. And now you die and gave another shutdown. And they get dragon. All because you wanted to push that wave in.
True.
And again, it's easy to think, oh yeah, I needed to be at dragon when you review the game, but you need to rather than think about that, you need to think about, was I aware the dragon was spawning? Was I aware of what was happening? Do I have good objective control? And right there, you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you need to be thinking. Back to the list. You need to be thinking, am I getting objectives? Am I playing around them properly? And you should think about that and say, no, I'm not. In the future, when I see that objectives are up, I need to... Maybe going mid is the right option, but I at least need to think about it and think, what is the trade-off of if I do go mid? And think about whether or not your team will win. So it's not necessarily a bad idea to go mid there. It's just you need to think about what will happen. Right? Let's see. Your team goes for Herald there. That's really good. I have it shown in this list. You want to trade objectives usually. You know that they're going for Dragon, so your team wants to get Herald. That's very good from your team to do that. Again, holding your abilities is important. You know, it's easier in hindsight, but
I definitely could have got a lot closer to him before using that.
But like, why is he trying to take blue anyway? What? But yeah, like, that's a max rain charm. Regardless, right?
Yeah.
Even if he doesn't flash, he could W out, he could flash out. You need to think, is he going to be able to... If he just walked up this way, he could have been able to dodge your charm regardless.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you see, your charm probably would have hit if he ran this way, but you could save your charm. And you end up getting the kill anyway, but... You don't always want to use your abilities as soon as they're up, as soon as you might be able to get it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I would also like to see you getting this tower or swapping with your bot lane soon. Because you do better in the side lane than your Jhin will. Yeah. That's good. Bad kite goal, but I don't know what Hector is doing.
Yeah, that's pretty upset, I think.
So, that one is just more... I don't really think there's too much to go over there. That's just, oh, your champion mastery, you expected more damage, you underestimated Swain.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing that you've... When you look back on the game in the losing screen, when you click defeat, that's what you think of. That's the play you think of. But, again, that's not really that bad of a play. And honestly, I think the bad play here was you were mid with Hecarim and Pyke. Who's getting this big wave here?
True.
And again, back to the back to getting your farm. A large reason I've noticed that people in lower elos get these 5-4 CS per minute games is because instead of going for the side waves, they just stick to mid. They stick to their lane even if other people are there. And yeah, maybe Yorick should be at this lane right now and he should be farming it, or Jhin should be here if he wasn't dead. But no one is getting it, and you should recognize, you should be thinking, what lane should I be in?
Right, it would have been better there just to let Hecarim rip shell mid and be down there.
Because, again, it's easy for you to notice, oh yeah, this play didn't work out. But it's not, I don't think it's a good idea to just go based off results and play based around the results of your game, right?
Also true.
Because right here you see, this tower's low, he's heralding. This tower's gone. You might be thinking, I get this kill on him. Because you have 3 here, right? That's probably what you're thinking is, if he stays, we can kill him, right?
Yeah, that's definitely what we're going for. Why?
Yeah.
Yes.
But think about it this way. He shouldn't stay because that tower's gone. So you're banking that off initially off of his misplay.
True.
Which will work right now, but what happens when it doesn't? Then you'll be stuck again. And you're better off making the better play in general because it's more consistent. And you'll consistently climb rather than be coin flip winning and losing.
True.
And so the moment that you see him drop Herald, I would recommend you should be trying to get bot here. And Jhin is going to spawn soon. Jhin should be going mid and you should be bot lane anyway because you should probably be top and Yorick should be bot because Baron is spawning soon and he has teleport, you don't, but they're not going to be doing Baron right now, so it's fine. You should be going bot and Jhin should spawn and then walk mid. Because if Jhin goes bot, he can easily get caught and die to Lee Sin. He can get ganked really easily. He has no mobility. But what were you going to say?
I think my thought process in here was Lee Sin's dead, and I had like set or something, you know, drop the rip trail mid.
Yeah.
So staying mid, I thought was gonna be better because we could have got 2 towers, especially catching something like this. But then, yeah, obviously the Pyke cult was pretty troll.
Yeah.
Hex grabbing a wave while we're fighting him.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty results based too. But even if you get those 2 towers, you probably weren't thinking Swain could 1v3, but your team misplayed that pretty bad too. He had a really good stopwatch.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you could have gotten this, but I guess they get this bot tower too.
Yeah.
Your team misses. Again,
we share XP among 3 people.
Even if this went well and how you thought, I don't think it's the right play because you get a kill and you get 2 towers, but you're gonna get that tower no matter what. Shelly's probably going to be able to, with Hecarim and Pyke there, they're probably going to be able to let it hit the tower regardless. So that you're going to get 2.5 or 1.5 towers no matter what for your team. And you'd be able to get this wave and deny them taking this tower.
Yeah, it would just do more for our team that way.
It's just kind of, that's just one of those points where you need to think about what happens, which lane should I be going to? am I ARAMing? Am I just going mid because I'm ARAMing it and just autopiloting mid? Because I'm getting tunneling and I see enemy person there who I might be able to kill, so I'm going mid because I want to kill him. You know?
Yeah.
Or am I doing it because it's the right decision? I'm not saying it's always correct to be going bot here, but there's no dragon up. No one's going to be doing Baron. There's no real reason to be grouping when they're not necessarily.
True.
It's just, you need to be able to think about that sort of which wave. And honestly, I might have done the same thing. And I'd be cursing, Swain's stupid strong. But let's see. That went off on it anyway. You were still able to get most of that tower, but now they were able to get that tower. Your team missed most of that, probably 2 waves there. So it's not just you died a couple times, it's also the macro on top of that. And you died because you shouldn't have even been in that position to begin with, you know?
Yeah, true.
You died not because you had a micro misplay, because you did there. Your team micro misplayed that. But you should never have even been in the position to die there. I'm interested. Let's see. You spawn. Right now, you just spawned. Let me go back 15 seconds. You're about to spawn, right? You should be thinking, what lane should I be going to, right? I would recommend you go bot. You see your Jin's there. He just finished pushing this wave in. Right now, you should say Jin go mid. I go bot. In chat.
Okay.
And you can walk from base here. Because again, who should be in the side lane? The immobile ADC with 0 crowd control and 0 mobility versus a Lee Sin versus a really high damage ADC and another ADC that has crowd control? Or should it be the mage with 3 dashes?
True.
You know, because this tower's now gone. This tower's now gone. Again, this tower shouldn't be gone if you were here in the first place. But assuming you made that mistake, you need to think, okay, where should I go now that I'm about to spawn? Should I go top? Yorick's going top. Probably not good for me to go top anyway, right? It's going to keep pushing up really far. And maybe Yorick should be bot just because Baron's up, but it's still really early. Their team comp doesn't take Baron that quickly, so that's not really a threat. But he should be going top here, and you should be trying to go bot and tell your bot to go mid. And that one's more of, when you reach the mid game, you need to think about, what lane should I go to? I also just realized I was not taking notes on the things that I'd recommend you improve on. So let's go over a bit of that. You know, we went over the positioning in the lane. These are the things that I would really focus on for right now. So again, laning, you want to know where to position in lane, when to position aggressively or not aggressively. You want to know when to trade, when is a good time to go for a trade, when's a bad time to go for a trade. The wave management and recall timings. This doesn't really show you what you need to do, but these are the things you need to think about.
True.
And I can tell you what you should do in this lane, or what I would do in this lane, but that doesn't really help you because you're not going to have this exact lane where you have you as Ahri versus this Swain where you get level 2 ganked by a Lee Sin who's going to camp you, and your Hecarim's going to gank you once at 6 and never again. You know. And then for the objective control with the dragon, ask yourself, do I need to be there? Should you be there? Will your team win without you there? And if you're not sure, you need to go.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
Unless you think your team loses even with you really hard, and in which case you should probably just not go anyway.
Yeah, like nobody should go.
Because, yeah. Then... I think I had a good name for it here. Let's let the background be the game. Okay, and then again with the side laning that we were just talking about here, you need to ask yourself, are you in the correct lane? Right?
Right.
Am I sharing experience and farm? This isn't necessarily bad. Is it... Because sometimes it is important to be able to share the experience in the farm. But you need to really analyze, is it the right decision to be sharing it?
So when would it be the right decision to share farm then? Because I was under the impression like you want to try not to share farm like ever.
For the most part you don't. But again, let's say, let's go back to right here. It's about 30 seconds up more. Your team has Rift here. Now, imagine their bot was dead, right? And there's a minion wave pushing here. But imagine their bot is dead, and it's just Teemo and Swain up. Your team has Rift here. It would be good for you to be staying mid here because their bot isn't here, in theory, because then you would be able to get this tower. It's 3v1. You would be able to get this tower. You would be able to get this tower as well. Because if Teemo shows up too, Yorick should, in theory, be coming too. And you want to talk about in theory, and you don't want to talk about, well, this happened this game. You want to talk about what should happen, because that's what's going to happen more often than not.
Yeah, if you focus on learning what should happen, then you start doing what should happen.
Focus on what you're going to do for you to have the best chances for you to win the game. Don't focus on what your teammates are going to do. Obviously, you want to adapt your gameplay around what your teammates are doing. But, again, I would have recommended him not even using Rift here. You could probably get the tower. It has, what is that? 800 health left, 900 health left, and there's 3 of you mid. You could probably get it without the Rift off this wave. Especially if you're going to go for this fight. Because your movement seems to be really good. Like, I can tell that you used to be an ADC man, because your movements are really short and concise, and you can dodge pretty well. And obviously you should have been able to kill him there. That's just unfortunate from your team that you didn't. Hecarim, for whatever reason, decided to get some farm mid-fight. Actually, I'm kind of curious what he was doing. Did he ult the wrong way or something? No. Yeah, he just runs here, goes for minions.
Might as well get the minions while he's in his own.
Yeah. So, again, I think this was a decent decision if their bot was dead. If their bot was dead, this minion wave was around here, maybe pushing into you still, but their bot was dead. I think going for this fight, getting the towers would be a good decision, and it'd be okay to share this experience and this gold and everything with your team because you're still getting a lot of stuff. You're opening the map up by getting 2, possibly even 3 towers, maybe even an inhib, but they'd be respawning soon, so I don't know if you'd be able to do that. But in that scenario, I think it would be good for you to group with your team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, and you just need to ask yourself, which team is going to get more? And not only which team is going to get more, but how can I get as much gold as possible while they get as little as possible? So in that scenario, I think it would be good to group. So side laning in the mid game. So that's a scenario. Let me open this up real quick so I can. And again, when you're pushing, and if you're in the side lane, this is just an important note to have, is if you're ever going to be side laning, you need to know if objectives are up or are going to be up soon, and if your team is going to fight.
Yeah, because if Dragon's coming up, I don't want to be top lane.
Yeah, but also, if their team has a Pantheon and an Amumu, and your team is this, they will just engage on your team 4v5, and you'll lose while you're collecting the bot. And while, yes, it is correct for you to be going bot to collect this wave, if the enemy team is engaging on your team and you're losing the 4v5, you can't just say, well, I had the right decision, so it's okay. Sometimes you have to realize, in theory, this is the better decision for me to go bot lane, but I know my team's going to fight, so it's better for me to be there.
True.
But you also don't want to be doing this too much, because then you're going to the fight then you're just grouping for no reason and sharing a lot of resources.
It's very situational and dynamic decision making.
Yeah. And I mean, it takes a long time for you to be able to do that and learn every game, but yeah. Let me check other. Also, another thing to understand is know that you were the one with a lot of the resources this game, and it's just as much on you for losing the game as it is on any of your teammates who fed, because you were the one who was designated by your team as the carry, and you weren't able to do that.
It's more so my fault than anything.
Yeah, because again, you can't control if your Yorick didn't get any ganks. Your bot lane, they got ganks, but it looks like Lee Sin kind of played better than your ARAM a lot this game.
Yeah, their ganks were me anyway.
Yeah. Like, I don't even know what ARAM's building, but
I think I started making the Yarg pop off too.
yeah, but let's see. So you need to also play around your vision. And I'll add this question mark, because should you hold the CC?
Mm-hmm.
Know when to use your ability and make sure that you land it. This is especially important for something that I had to really work on, because when I play LeBlanc, if I go in for a trade and I miss chain, there's a very, very good chance the enemy will outtrade me or beat me in the fight. And on top of that, that loses a lot of my pressure in the lane, because then the enemy mid laner will realize they don't have chain, they don't have the crowd control. If I do get ganked here, I won't die.
True.
Because if you hold it and you land it, then, you know, you landed it. But if you don't, you lose a lot of pressure in lane, and you might lose the fight.
I guess that comes with playing RA a little more too. When I got
Yeah.
like four games over on in ranked.
No, yeah, that's champion micro.
Yeah. But that's definitely something that I'll keep in my mind.
I also noticed you weren't really at any of the dragons. There have been 3 now. You weren't really there for any of them, which you probably didn't need to always, but and so outside of the game, you know, you need to find your champ pool. You're better off playing a champion you know how to play very well against a counter matchup when you're counterpicked than picking Renekton because, oh, it beats X champion, but you don't know how to play it and you don't know why it counters it.
That's very true.
You know, and again, sometimes it's better not to, but, and if you're picking, you know, you're picking Zed into Renekton mid when the rest of your team's all AD, and, you know, maybe just dodge when it's up to that point. But again, you want to stick to your champ pool. Let me show you something for me that happened to me. Yeah. So I think these are all my ranked games. And so here's a large number of my games, right? And right now you notice I'm Diamond 4. I have a lot of different champions played. I have a lot of games played. I have, what is that, 600? And I have a good win rate on a few of my main champs that I played a lot. And notice in my recent games, ignore the Jace one. I was talking about. I probably should have dodged, and I didn't because I thought it'd be fun to play him. But LeBlanc, I'm gonna keep count of the number of champions I play. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I went down that many games before getting my 4th.
True.
And you know what happened this game when I picked Talon?
You slapped.
LeBlanc and Zed were both banned.
Oh, true.
And again, I think this one, they picked Kassadin, and so he banned Zed. And I don't want to pick LeBlanc into Kassadin, so I picked Talon, and I did very well. I didn't carry this game properly, but again, almost every game are the same few champs. And notice how most of these are wins. There are a few patches of some losses in a row, but notice how that's when I started playing it, I hit Diamond 4 here. And I go down to when I wasn't playing the same champs all the time. I was Gold 1. I was still playing mostly these champs, with a few occasionally. Oh, I played someone not those 3, I lost.
Wait, you went from Gold 1 to Diamond 4 that fast?
Yeah, I went from, once I hit Plat 4, it took me 75 games to get. 70, 75.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I had a 67% win rate.
So what, did you just correct like one little thing? You're like, Eureka, let's go.
I mean, I focused on a few different things. I really focused on narrowing my champ pool down. And I focused on playing 100% every game. Because notice around here was when I was playing other champs. And this is when I was stuck. I was gold 2 here. And if I go down when I was playing a lot of other champions, there's a large variety. I go back 20 games. Gold 1. But I was hovering around gold 1. I played more champs and then I went down to gold 2. And you go down a little more. I was gold 3. I was moving up and down I was very inconsistent. Because some games I would do very well, other games I wouldn't do well. But I focused on really playing the same champs every game. Really learning how to play these properly.
Would you say that was like the main thing that helped you climb through plat that fast? Because that's I think that's a pretty quick.
Yeah, it's that
pretty quick
and
incline.
this.
The outside of game.
That's what helped me climb. Playing to learn. Taking breaks was very important for me. I would take a break after every single game pretty much. I would take a 5-minute break, go to the bathroom, get some water. If I lost, I would maybe take even longer if I felt like I wasn't ready for the next game. But even if I won, I would go to the bathroom or I would get water or I'd get a snack or something just so I would make sure that I'm ready for the next game. I would make sure I don't tilt, and if I felt like I was tilted, I would quit. Let's find a loss streak. I think I played this game. I was like, okay, I'm playing well. I lost, but I'm playing well. I'll take a small break. I played the next game. I said, okay, I didn't do very well, but neither did my team. And then I played this game and I realized, no, I'm tilted. I'm just going to stop playing. And this was the last game of the day. Whereas previously I would have kept playing because, I'll play out of this tilt, but I stopped playing ranked.
True.
I came back to it the next day. I lost, but I didn't tilt. But if I felt like I was tilted here, I would have gone on another count. I would have played a normal. I would have played flex. I would have done something else. I'm annoyed. It's a little bit of a bummer that... Oh, it does show the day. So, yeah. October 7th. Yeah, 6th. 6th. October 6th. So you can see that I stopped playing after I realized I was tilted. So it's important to be able to know when to play.
Very true.
And that's what helped me climb. The things that... Here. And this is what I think got me to climb. And while yes, I'll add one more that's in game. I stopped dying 1v1 so much. A lot of what I realized, one of my biggest mistakes was that I would very frequently just coin flip a fight level 2. I would go in, I would fight the enemy, and I would just say, if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. And very often that ended up in me dying and the enemy getting a kill on me, and I lose a lot of games because of that. Whereas, if I focused on not dying 1v1, I won a lot more. Do you have any questions about anything? We can watch the rest of this game if you want, but I feel like, again, after this, it's mostly just their team's winning and they're going to keep winning.
I feel like if we continue watching this, it's more just a waste of your time, if anything, because we've pretty much seen the gist of the mistakes that I'm making. Like this game could have been over pretty well in like 5 minutes if I made the proper plays.
Yeah.
I was trying to be spicy.
Yeah. I mean, that's not bad. A bit of a misplay there. Mike. And again, I think that's a decent play. If you knew how to play Ahri better, you would have landed that charge. And again, it still worked out decently well. Yorick got pretty fed there. But
Blue team's turret.
But yeah. Again,
Shut down.
your autopilot going mid.
Yeah, that's definitely what's happening right now.
You should not be going mid here because not only is bot lane going to be going mid, so you're going to be sharing resources. What is there to get mid? There's no minions up. The minions haven't even spawned yet. So you're just going to be standing here for no reason, kind of just fucking around.
Yeah, there's like no reason.
So-
Maybe I can get wolves and
You could go for Wolves or you could go for Gromp. Hecarim might be upset because it looks like he's going to be trying to farm that stuff, but you could try to go bot. Again, going bot is a little troll because Baron's up. They could try to do it. So Yorick should be going bot because he has teleport. You should be top.
I think top's the play here.
Again, and there's two ways to play around that. You know that he's going to be top, so you can type to him and say, hey, can you go bot? You have teleport for Baron. And he'll probably do it. All right. Do you have any questions about anything?
I don't think so. Nothing that comes to mind right now. I was just gonna copy this list if that's okay.
Oh,
real
yeah.
quick.
Let me...
Yeah, I guess that makes it easier than me typing it all out.
Here. Desktop. And there you go. Uploaded it.
Thank you,
I'll
sir.
copy the text too for you. But these are the things that with the coaching session, you should be able to have a better idea of what you were doing properly and what you weren't. And looking at this list, you should say, oh yeah, I need to make sure I'm positioned properly, is my positioning properly? And, you go back to the session and say, yeah, this is where I need to position and when. This list doesn't really say that, but based on the coaching session, and you yourself should be analyzing, am I doing this properly?
True.
And some of it is asking yourself, are you there? But really focus on your laning, I would say, while you're in gold. Up until platinum, you need to focus on your laning. If you get platinum, you probably want to focus a lot more on the macro. But if you're in gold, you should be able to win lane almost every game if you play it properly.
Okay.
And focus on that and focus on side laning is what I would say. Side laning, play around objectives, and focus on your lane. But again, focus on your lane for the most part, a little bit on are you going to the right lane, and are you at objectives when you need to be.
Okay. That seems pretty simple enough to work on.
Yeah, I feel like those are the most important things. And again, after you fix that stuff, you can go to this. You have this here, and you can look at a little bit more of this. And this is a little more in detail if you want to know more in depth, but that's a lot of material. You're not going to focus on every little bit from that in one.
Yeah, very very true. It's hard to digest it all.
Focus on the first game. For your first 10 games, I would say Honestly, first I would just say go to play, training, practice tool, practice farming. Sit and wave, just on repeat, just go. Pick a champion you want to learn. Go to... Let's go for you, Ahri. You know.
Don't you
I
trust
pick.
me?
These are runes I often take on Ahri, so I'll go for that.
And just farm the wave.
And I'll show you what I do just to kind of streamline it, just so you know what I would suggest.
Fair enough. I used to do that on the AD carry all the time. I'd go into the lane without
Yeah.
any Doran's Blade or
Yeah.
any items.
If you really want to get good,
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Minions have spawned.
lock XP level.
Indulge me.
Don't level up an
Just
ability.
do it at level 1, I see.
So you don't level up, which makes it a lot easier to farm. You just sit here. And focus looking on the minimap every now and again, too. You know?
Tell me a secret.
And this is what I meant by the don't be obvious. Notice how if you were trying to throw a skill shot at me, I'm moving around a lot. Which way do you,
Yeah.
It's hard to tell which way I'm going to go. Because I'm running at you. Oh, I dodge.
Shall we?
I go for the farm. I missed it.
So while you're doing that, are you just holding down right click?
I'm pressing really quickly.
Or are you actually clicking really fast?
I'm clicking fast. You want to click as close to your character as possible. And let's say there's an enemy, right? Spawn enemy dummy. If there's an enemy right here, and I think he,
They're mine
if
now.
I'm playing against the Swain in this matchup, I don't want to go right now because I'm about to have to go for this farm. I'm gonna have to go for that farm, and I'm gonna have to go for this farm. But assuming right now he's gonna be going for these farm, if I walk up here, I'm gonna expect him to throw his E, right? If that's a Swain. So you go up, you juke. You just expect him to do it. You don't react. A lot of the time, that's not how you should juke. Most of the time, you want to be saying he's gonna want to throw his ability out at me, so you want to anticipate it and juke before, right? Or if you stand right here and you're going like this, he has no idea where you're gonna go. And notice how I can path towards top while he still doesn't know, but I'm still moving towards top. I'm still moving the direction I want to move, but he won't be able to land the skill shot. So I'd recommend doing this. Go into
Stand in my way.
this. Try to manipulate the wave. See, oh, this is about to crash. Am I going to be able to get all this farm under tower? Notice how I prepped that minion so I would be able to get it. I use the mana when I need to, but only when I need to.
Playtime's over.
I missed that one, but this one goes. Yeah, see, I missed a lot of that stuff. A lot of that's because I don't play a lot of Ahri, and I'm also level 1.
It just be like that sometimes.
But yeah, but I recommend just going to that sort of stuff.
Fair enough. I'll do that.
But yeah. All right, any other?
You were saying for the first 10 games, just to practice.
Yes. Focus on farming a little bit, but first 10 games I would recommend focus on your trading, focus on your warding. So during the lane, focus on your trading, you know, the when to trade. That's here. So make sure you're trying to get good trades that you're winning. Focus on your vision, making sure you don't get ganked and you don't die. And not dying is also part of trading. Make sure you don't die. Try to take only good trades where you won't die, and know when to take the trades because you have vision of the enemy.
All right. I got that in big caps here. Do not die 1v1s.
Yeah. And then farm well. Again, you want to hold your CC, but again, that's more something when you got these down, you can focus on these more micro elements.
True, and I think once I get better at doing the side laning too, my farm will go up.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I was doing too bad in the lane, but I
Yeah.
lost it all when I
Like
started
obviously
doing
you
roams
missed
and-
some farm you didn't need to, but that happens to
Yeah.
everyone. You want to compare yourself to the enemy mid laner at all stages of the game.
Yeah, that's what matters. But I
That's
also
a
want to
good
compare
point,
myself to not be
Yeah.
bad and just get
No, yeah.
get 10 CS a minute.
And again, you always want to focus on objective control. This is kind of just one bullet point. Focus on the side laning properly. But what I mean by focus on one thing is in the lane, you only need to really be focusing about the laning stuff, right? But once you're done with the laning phase, you don't need to be worried about, oh, is my wave management great? You can have good wave management outside of the laning phase. And it's important to do that, but that's, again, focusing on what you're doing with the waves in your mid game is probably not as important as where you're going.
Yeah, like I'm sure later on in like, diamond and stuff that does matter later in the
Yeah.
game, but
Once you start improving more, you can start thinking about, and you've at least got a better idea of how to do all this stuff. You can start thinking about, oh, should I freeze this wave in bot or not? Like if you're a bot lane, if you're at your tier 1 tower or tier 2 tower bot lane, right?
yeah.
Let me get a mini map just so I can. So let's say you're right here, and you're on blue side, and you're right here. If Dragon's up, if Baron is up, and it's 25 minutes in, you don't want to freeze this wave, right?
Right.
But if their team is not able to get anything, if there's no objectives up, if your team is able to defend these two towers without you there, you should freeze the wave, But again, that's stuff you don't need to focus on right now.
True.
Like, that's more stuff that obviously you want to play perfectly every game. You want to do as well as possible, but you need to focus on what you need to focus on for now. And focus on these things first, and I think you'll start to climb a lot more.
Okay.
And quickly, and then just compare yourself and always reflect and think, am I doing the right decision? And don't think about results. Think about, did I make the right decision to be in this scenario in the first place?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have any other questions or anything else?
No, I think that's it for now. I can't think of anything good.